Where do you go from there?
Believe it or not, it just keeps heating up. Literally, I think this run of episodes is, I think, the most exciting run I've done in a long time. Like, there's just every episode. If you think that was it, you're wrong.
How carefully did you map out the season so you knew when things would really kick in and have a crazy stretch of what?
Yeah, well, it was interesting. I think with any pilot, the first year, those first couple of episodes, you're kind of gauging what's working, because nobody's worked together, people are seeing footage for the first time. So from literally from the writing all the way through every aspect of the show, you're getting information in every day and sort of adjusting things a little bit. But I think in general, we've kind of hit all the benchmarks that we anticipated hitting in the last moment of the season is kind of what we'd all envisioned. Brian and I, obviously, working with Jen and Sherry, who created the show, the four of us have really sat down and over the course of the season kind of wanted to do certain things in particular. And looking back, I'd say we kind of hit all of them and then added a few extra in, too.
Following up on that, how do you plan for season 2 then? I mean, do you have that in your mind when you start season 1, or what do you do?
It's what we've always found is that as you're going through a season, for some reason there'll be ideas that come up that you're like, that's a great idea, I can't wait to do it. It's next season, or it's season 4, or it's literally you'll just have that gut oh, that's a great season 3. So there, over the course of the season, you end up pulling stuff and putting it in this next season 2 pocket, season 3 pocket, and so. Yeah, I don't know, it's bizarre. You just kind of get this weird oh, that's not where the story is right now. That's where it's going to be 18 months from now. I don't know how that happens. It just does.
Have you had a chance to look at the original series and kind of take an extra peek at it and find inspiration?
Yeah, and I think the tunnels that everybody's seeing, that definitely, we knew, as we were all sitting down at the very, very beginning, we're well, we definitely want to do a nod to that because it was such a cool aspect. So there's been aspects along the way, but, there's a long series to go, so I'm sure there'll be nods, every so often. It's always fun to do that.
Have you had time to really delve into it, or did you just kind of take a quick look?
I remember. I mean, I saw the series when it was first on, but I have a pathetic memory, so I did go back and look at episodes again. But it is kind of sprinkled out a little bit more. Yeah.
When the show first started, one of the big criticisms of him was the Beast wasn't
beastly enough. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Maybe it's because he turns into a beast instead of it's always a beast.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Did you take those criticisms to heart, and have you made him more beastly?
It's interesting, yeah, because when it happened, we kept sort of going, what are they, because you look at we had still photos, I have some on my camera even, when he's beasted out, and I'm like, oh, that's pretty, for a guy, that's a pretty gruesome version of a guy, so I think, and then we all kind of thought, oh, it suddenly dawned on us, we had our heads underground for a long time, oh, it's because people who didn't know the show kept seeing photos of him and thinking, oh, that's the beast, that's not, and not realizing there was a transformation. The makeup definitely gets tweaked here and there. We've done a little bit more with the nails and the hands lately, which has been kind of fun. So we kind of add a little bit at a time, but it's a hard process, and Jay's a total trooper because he has to sit in a makeup chair for literally hours and hours to go through it. But yeah, any criticism that's out there, it's you definitely walk around remembering it and thinking of it.
Well, also in the original, Vincent was always a beast. He was never handsome.
Right. And I think one of the things that when Jen and Sherry created the show, I think what they wanted to do was make him a very accessible character and not, I think it's different what people kind of expect today, because now there's so much you can do with visual effects, with transforming and changing and shifting and that sort of thing, that it's, I think, probably an aspect of it that maybe wouldn't have come up all those years ago, just because visual effects weren't. I mean, just in the 11 years I've been dealing with visual effects, they've changed so dramatically that there's all kinds of things that I can do now and think of that I couldn't have even done 11 years ago. So, but I do think that was part of it, just making him kind of human, and then this sort of Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde in some ways. Yeah.
How much do you pay attention to the internet and what they're saying about the show?
A lot. We have an incredible. I mean, our writing staff and our host house, and post staff are here in LA, in California, and then production's up in Toronto. So I can't really speak for other people, but within our walls, like our amazing writing staff is on the computer all the time. Yeah.
They have a very strong Twitter.
Yes,
presence.
we have a very strong Twitter presence, which has been amazing.
So how much does what the fans say affect what you write?
Brian and I dealt with it a lot on Smallville too. I mean, Twitter wasn't obviously as big, but online was like huge. It definitely affects it. And then it's sort of the question of like, well, what do people really hate, and then what are they loving to hate? Is where it gets like kind of tricky, where you have to go in and kind of try and analyze like, do they really hate this character, or do they love hating the character? Because if they love hating the character, that's great. If they just hate the character, like that's not so good. So it definitely impacts it. What's hard is, I think people don't realize, is by the time you've written it, produced it, etc., and it airs, like a lot of time's passed. So it's not like you can immediately change next week. So like maybe you can change like 7 weeks from now, and it does adjust that, but you can't really change like the next week. So
Mark Burnett was saying that the thing that he thinks is so good about social media for TV series is that people want to watch them live now, so it helps get the audience to watch it when it's on, because then they're interacting with each other. Do you think that that's happening with TV?
Yeah, I definitely do. I mean, it's definitely to say that Twitter and online communication is changing how people write television and create it is like an understatement. It is massively impacting it, and I think it's been in a really great way. And I think that if we can bring people back to live television, obviously the networks will be really happy.
As you've gotten a chance to see what your leads do with those characters, how has that influenced your writing, and how maybe changed things up or tweaked it to play to the strengths you see in the
it impacts it a lot, because I think from Kristen and Jay and Austin and Nina, Brian, like across the board, when you get footage in and suddenly they take a line and make it more funny, like make it more humorous than you expected, you suddenly go, oh, I can start writing some humor for that character. I didn't know, or they take a moment that you didn't think had that much, maybe it was like a little bit of an emotional shift in your mind, and they really shift it deeply. You suddenly start, I have to say, seeing footage from actors come in, I would say impacts the writing of that character and the ideas that come forward way more than hopefully you even have any idea. Like I've taken characters and completely changed their path simply based on abilities that the actor had that I didn't know they had.
Last question. And as some of the characters have found out, their dynamics have shifted a bit. Who would you say is the biggest antagonist for these last episodes?
That's a good question. Well, the one that they're going to start screening right now, Evan, is a massive problem for them. Max does such an incredible job on it. Sendel obviously becomes an issue, but I will tell you that there's another bigger, darker character that's going to arrive down the road too.
We have to move on to the next table. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
Everyone.
Thank you. Oh, sure.